All right, what's going on, you guys? Recording in my car again. Jim's a little busy. Don't want to disturb anyone again. I'm gonna try to keep this week's video a little bit shorter than last week. And initially, I was thinking I wanted to talk about my actual experience at Collegiate Nationals after last week, talking about leading up to it, the meet before. But something came up, and I decided I kind of want to talk about genetics and the role they play in all this, and the idea of genetic potential. So the reason that I'm bringing this up is because a lot of people talk to me about my genetics and my genetic potential, and they say things like, oh, you have great genetics, or your ability to build muscle just naturally is so much higher than mine, or is this and that. Just last week, I was in the gym and I was training. I was working in with someone, and he mentioned my genetics. He said, oh wow, you must have really great genetics for building muscle and for strength. And the point of this video is not for me to say, oh, I do have great genetics, or I don't have great genetics. It's about what you do with what you've got, right? My grandpa, if you've seen him, some of you who are watching this probably have, or if you've seen pictures, he's huge bodybuilder. Even in his late 40s, he was just a large, freaky, muscular guy, right? So this is not it. Obviously, I got some of that. I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh, my genetics are so poor, or that my genetics are so great. Look at my dad's side of the family. Both of my parents are 5'3", right? And neither of them are bodybuilders. Neither of them compete in any kind of strength sport, or any sport really. My father is from Ethiopia. That entire side of my family, not interested in strength, not interested in building muscle. None of them are very large. And I mean, just looking at both of my parents, right? Neither of them are exceptionally muscular, large, freakish, or anything like that. And a bigger part that I think a lot of people don't know, or maybe don't understand, is that I've been training hard, consistently, for almost 9 years. During that time, yes, I ran track. I lost a lot of weight, got down to the 140s. Even just 3.5 years ago, I was around 155, 160. And, now about 210. But if you look at the highs and the lows, in high school, after maybe 3 or 4 years of solid, hard, consistent training, never taking any time off, I got up to 180, in high school, 180 pounds. And yeah, was I fluffy? Yes. Am I fluffy now? Yes. But my point being that everyone wants to talk about genetics, and yet when I hear people talking about genetics, usually the conversation kind of ignores what those people have done, what their training history looks like. A lot of people will say, oh, after a couple of years of training, I'm starting to get close to my genetic potential. maybe that's right. Maybe you are. Maybe you are getting close to your genetic potential. It's true that in the first couple of years of training, you do make your most serious gains, typically. And I know, like, for myself, the fact that I'm able to still see as much progress as I am, as much progress as I have, you know, in the last couple of years, does speak to the fact that I don't have poor bodybuilding or powerlifting genetics. Obviously, there's something there. But there are plenty of people who have made it much further than me, than where I am right now, with arguably worse genetics for the sport. There are plenty of people whose anatomy is not quite right for squatting, right? Plenty of people whose arms are too long to have a really great bench, right? And those people, you know, there are people who have insane wingspans who still bench twice their body weight, 2.5 times their body weight. Or really long femurs who squat 3 times their body weight plus, you know. Or short arms. There's, if you want to check out a guy who has short arms but a freaky deadlift, there's a guy named Evan. I think his name is Evan Ross. He's a 90 kilo lifter in the USAPL junior. And you can ask him, you can look at his posts. He does not have a crazy wingspan. If anything, it looks like he's got a pretty short wingspan. And yet he goes toe to toe with the best deadlifters in the world. He is one of the strongest. He's one of the strongest deadlifters in the nation. And I believe he won collegiate nationals this year. So how is his genetic potential affecting his success? Who's to say? You know, could he be a better powerlifter overall if his arms were a little longer? Maybe. My point is, who fucking cares? Like, everyone's all worried about their genetic potential. You will probably never, ever fully realize your genetic potential. I can guarantee you I will never fully realize my genetic potential as a powerlifter. Why is that? I've got other things I'm doing. You know, powerlifting is very near and dear to my heart, but while I'm training, I'm also studying. I would like to earn my doctorate, and I'm in a position now where I can pursue that. So I can't fully devote my energy and all my focus to powerlifting. I have to dedicate so many resources to studying, to work, to my relationships, friendships. You know, that's just where I'm at in my life. Like, I'm not interested in trying to fully maximize my powerlifting performance if it means it's going to hinder my success in other aspects of my life. And chances are that, you know, if you're watching this, you're probably in the same boat, you know. I'm guessing that you're not willing to do whatever it takes to fully maximize your potential, you know. Do you have a partner? You know, you got a girlfriend, boyfriend, dog, house, rent? You know, you're probably not doing everything you can to be the best at whatever it is that you're doing. So why bother worrying about what your genetic potential is? Just try to get better. Every day you can make the decision to push forward in whatever it is that you're doing. Maybe it's not the most you could do, but I mean, what's the point in that? Like, if your goal is to just be as good as you can in conjunction with everything else going on in your life, you do what you can. So, anyway, to wrap this up, if you're out there worrying about what your genetic potential is, or, you know, how your genetics play a role in what you're doing, absolutely take it into consideration. If you start powerlifting and you can't gain weight after 4 years of trying, your joints ache, but you pick up a tennis racket and you're coordinated, you're able to move quickly, you're able to score points on your buddies who have more experience, and you enjoy it, okay, quit powerlifting. Go play tennis, you know? And that's another thing, like, have fun. No matter what, like, if you're not enjoying this stuff, like, what are you doing? Anyway, hope you enjoyed. I'll add a couple training clips from this next week of training. I'll see you guys next week.